What is up, guys? It's Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News, the only live call-in show somewhere. We'll be right back with today's news and all sorts of crazy things. 3 CEOs, basically all on top of the world, stepping down at the same time, and even more on the way. What's really going on? We'll be right back to tell you. All right. What is going on? So there are tons of things going on right now, and we're going to go over that. I'm going to show you some stuff that's going to blow your mind. I'm going to do it with a smile on my face, but man, oh man, it is absolutely crazy right now, and we are going to prove to you that you should be at least thinking about stockpiling some food, getting some stuff ready. Again, our mission here is to inform people and to let you guys know what is really going on. At the same time, you know, we're trying to reach as many people as possible. So that's very difficult in today's day and age. So we're going to go over a lot of things. If you've never been here before, this is a live call-in show. In fact, our number is right down here, 224400MARF. If you don't have a touch-tone phone that has letters on it, it's 6273. You can then call that and press option 4 to actually get on the show. This is the live taping over on DLive, and then it will be over on YouTube, which, again, we have 2 channels. Our main one at 151,000 subscribers, and then we just surpassed 107,000 subscribers on our small channel. With that being said, Marfoogle TV and Marfoogle News are the 2 channels. Make sure to check them both out. Over here, we have grown a community now, and it's absolutely amazing as well. So, again, we are going to be doing live calls. We're going to be going over a lot of articles. While we're here, I've got Dex here, who is going to be screening calls, and he also has an entire screen to my left dedicated to the callers. So he actually can grab pictures from them. He can grab articles, archived videos, anything that they end up calling in. We can end up screening that and putting it through to the rest of the Foogle family. Now, I'm also going to show you here our website, and then I've got Dex here. We can do a sound check, and then also he can let us know what's new with the website.
Hey, Adam, I am here, and hello, Foogle fam. So are you pulling up the site?
Yeah, so I'm pulling up the site. Just to let you guys know, we took a few days off. I was working on the documentary. Dex and myself were both working on the website. Dex is obviously the technical guy. We added a lot of new things, including not safe for YT, content, tweets, videos, all sorts of stuff. I mean, you're talking about, I mean, how many video did we add? I mean, like, gosh.
I think right now, if you go to there's a new menu item on the website. So if you're on a desktop, it'll be at the very top. If you're on a phone, it'll be in the menu at the top, called COVID-19. And when you go there, it's basically live updates on what we're tracking or not. It's updated as we update it, as we're tracking new information. And there's about 150 items in there for the last few days around COVID in reverse chronological order. So yeah, a lot of information, a lot of the things we won't be able to say on YouTube and other platforms, but a lot of the up to the minute information, whether it's leaked information or other things that are happening right now as it is breaking across the globe related to COVID.
Now, when I first showed it, it was all lettering. It was just loading. In fact, another thing we were doing was Dex was working on maximizing it so it would load faster. We actually reached the CPU speed for our service. We started out with a simple website, then it got bigger, then it got bigger, then it got bigger. Then it got actually more expensive to run it because of how many people were going there per day. In fact, it seems like more people are actually going there than we even have viewers. So obviously the website has its own reputation, outside of us, and it's growing and growing and growing. Now, as far as the stuff that's here, once it loads, you'll see, man, there's just tons and tons of information here. There's tons of leaked videos, all sorts of things that are here right at your fingertips. So the stuff that we're going to be covering today, when you go to the website, you'll see at the very top, you can actually go to the homepage, and then we do it by thumbnail. So if you click on this thumbnail, you will actually see that there is Pandemic, Are We There? Now, when you click on that, it will bring you all of the articles. So you can follow along on a second device. You can go back 10 years later and actually say, hey, he backed this up with some sort of bibliography. So we actually... people have said all sorts of things about us because obviously we make waves. And when you make waves, you have a lot of surfers trying to ride you. That was good. I think I just came up with that. That was good. And again, not all surfers are bad, but this is a big deal as far as Corona. And it's pretty hard to cover right now because they were saying a lot of things were not true that now are not only confirmed. We're going to show you some graphs. We're going to show you all sorts of stuff. We're going to try to be as careful as possible so we can still get this over on YT afterwards. Now, again, you can read along. I'm going to get started. I'm going to get into the news. You guys are going to be blown away by this, literally and figuratively, because this is some pretty big news. But first, let me just warn you, nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else who helps with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. Now, the first story here, this is a big deal because a lot of people have said that we are prepping for some sort of, big conflict. In fact, online, people have been saying that it's WW3 for a long time, that, it's coming, it's right around the corner. Some people say, oh, they said that 5 years ago. Well, some like me know that it takes years for these things to play out. In some opinions, they say that this is all kind of planned and it goes all a part of something that's actually been planned for much longer than that. If you look at the past and previous conflicts that we've had, especially going back hundreds of years, there's always been puppet masters of sorts paying for both sides. I mean, literally paying both sides and putting weapons in both hands. We've actually seen that with some of the richest families in the world. They actually helped both sides of a fight. Why? Because they own the companies that everybody's getting the stuff from. So there's a whole nother show there, probably a D-Live only show there to talk about. So without getting too far into that, I will let you guys know I'm going to hop in the chat here in a minute. Thank you guys for all coming. Thank you if you've never seen my show and you're sitting here like, what the hell is this? Thank you, and thank you. Anybody who ends up donating on YouTube, you will end up being in the ticker the next day. We appreciate your support. This platform has had a lot of struggles, and we appreciate you. It's not just me anymore. I never did ask for anything for 2 years, but now multiple people are actually depending on us, and we are trying to even expand and bring more people on. And for that reason, if you do feel like it, we do appreciate it, and we do keep track of that kind of thing. So thank you guys for your financial support, and thank you for supporting us by going through any of our affiliates. All right, and again, we are trying to work on platforms that will help people. Unfortunately, those don't come free. So thank you, and thank you. Okay, so dangerous games. U.S. nukes Russia in mini exercise. This is a big deal because it is obviously a mock attack on them, and now they've been talking about these mini nukes. This is something that has been going on for a while now, the talk of the mini nukes, which I guess you can explain this way. Instead of knocking out an entire city, if they use mini tactical nukes, which now a lot of countries have, it would just knock out a specific target without, contaminating the world or contaminating an entire city or blowing everybody off of the planet. That sounds great in features. So say if there's a military base, it would just knock out the military base. Of course, with a nuke of any size, it would at least have, somewhat of a diameter around it that would be affected. It says U.S. Defense Secretary Mark Esper, who we read about a lot, played himself in a drill at the U.S. Strategic Command HQ in Nebraska, which featured a bizarre scenario of America nuking Russia in response to its own nuclear strike against a NATO ally. So when you look at this, this is actually saying essentially that the scenario would be us. So is this saying that we would nuke one of our a strike against a NATO ally, and then end up? I'm a little put off by this.
In this drill, we are responding. So in the drill, Russia hit one of our NATO allies, and then we retaliated. Okay,
so it's the way they write it. In Russia, in response to its own. If you read that a different way, it says that we struck a NATO ally. U.S. military exercise simulating various crises are not that uncommon, yet out of all plausible scenarios, this particular drill apparently simulated a highly unrealistic one. Now, of course, they write that. It says the classified exercise conducted at Offutt Air Force Base near Omaha on Thursday focused on an imaginary nuclear conflict between the U.S. and Russia in Europe. Now, do you think this is really that unrealistic, or do you think that this is, obviously they have to cover all contingencies, so they plan for everything. That's why I tell citizens, the government and the military, you don't look at them crazy when they are drilling for absolutely every scenario. Why are we considered crazy for preparing for every scenario? Because when we've seen in the past, what do they do when there's a real emergency, when there's a citywide emergency, when there's a disaster that is, beyond just a city block? I mean, we're talking about like Katrina. What did the police do? Half of them left their posts and went to save their own families. So are you going to depend on the local police to protect you? What if it's a martial law scenario? Would you depend on them? No. In fact, you would probably be handcuffed and put away if you did try to depend on them. So what do you think of this, Dex, as far as the back and forth, and what about this drill?
We've only been talking about the tension between Russia and our allies in Europe for the past year. So I don't think it's very unrealistic to think that they would run a drill like that, nor would we be planning and preparing for something like that, given the fact that we do have so much tension. We've always had tension with Russia, but we've had a lot of it over this past year in Europe.
Yeah, and it's I don't see how it's unrealistic. I think it's been years and years and years of back and forth tension. One mistake, if they don't get on that phone, could end in tragedy. I mean, in the past, and I know this from our military groups, we've had multiple accidents over the year that phone has been used. They don't publicly tell the news and tell everybody when that phone line is used. And I'm, of course, talking about the direct phone from our president and Russia's president, Mr. Putin. That phone is used a lot because there's a lot of mistakes that are made. Think about it. It's humans. And mistakes are made. Now, say an aircraft accidentally shoots down another aircraft, and then in the public eye, it just mysteriously had an engine problem and fell down over enemy ground. It might have been an accident, or maybe they thought the wrong thing, then shot it down. There's these kind of cover-ups that we know about. These are facts that 10 years later we end up finding out, okay, this is, it was done to de-escalate the situation. We know this for a fact. It happens all the time. It's just, it's accepted. I don't understand how it is accepted that we are lied to for our own safety so much. And honestly, that is why people do not trust a lot of things now. They complain about theorists, right? The conspiracies that are going around. But then again, they've shown us and they've released all these things where almost everything in the past was a different version of what it is. We have been raised to basically get used to being lied to for our own safety. Do you guys understand what I'm saying on that one? We've literally been lied to our entire lives about almost every scenario, and it's for our own good. So we're supposed to accept this. The ones that kind of stand out and kind of step aside and say, whoa. Wait a second, that doesn't match up. Why is he over here and why is he there? Then they go, whoa, don't ask questions. This is, you're just supposed to believe what we say. Again, if you do that, you'll be fine. But if you don't, you'll be looked at like you're crazy, even though 10 years later, you end up being found out to be right. I mean, it literally is what our all of our governments do. I mean, all the countries do the same thing. It's for our own safety. It's for our own good. Some might accept that. That's fine. But at the same time, it's messed up that we can't even talk about it, can't even question it, because it's not like we're going to get confirmed anyways. It says also on RT, it says step to nuclear doomsday. It says, according to the drill scenario, Moscow somehow decided to use a low-yield nuclear weapon against a site, quote, on the NATO territory. Somewhere in Europe, it says a senior Pentagon official confirmed to journalists on condition of anonymity the fact that Europe is Russia's biggest trading partner, and Moscow would never wish to have a full-blown conflict on its doorstep requiring the use of nuclear weapons apparently never bothered the U.S. military. It says, instead, the exercise conveniently used America's traditional boogeyman as a target for, quote, simulated responding with a nuclear weapon. The officials did not reveal what exact type of nuclear weapon was used, but what particular site in Russia the U.S. military decided to strike as part of the drills, limiting itself to describing this response is, quote, limited. So they're saying it wouldn't be a full-out mutually assured destruction scenario. It would be they knock at a target, we knock at a target, but using nuclear weapons. Is that too crazy? I think this is more realistic than a full-out mad scenario. If you know what I mean. I don't even know why they use the word unrealistic in the first place, because this sounds like the more realistic scenario than, say, full on the world ending because of a nuclear exchange. A limited attack on one target and one target, that sounds like a daily thing. Just saying. But I guess that's the whole thing. They don't want one attack because basically both sides have committed to MAD, or mutually assured destruction, which means if you send one, we'll send them all. And if you send them all, we'll send them all. And we all die, and nobody wants that because... but now it's changed though, right? I mean, now that hypersonics are around, they're hard to stop. I think one side or the other might have a kind of an advantage, and maybe that's why they ended up going and making space programs public, which of course we've had for a long time. Next, it says U.S. will no longer tolerate Russia's non-compliance of open skies. Now, this actually came out a few days ago, about 4 days ago, but I wanted to go over it because it just shows a bit more of this tension. It says U.S. Secretary of Defense Mark Esper has slammed Russia's longtime, quote, non-compliance to the Open Skies Treaty, months after the T-Man administration expressed a desire to nix it, along with the recently defunct Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty, the INF. It says Esper told reporters at U.S. Strategic Command on Thursday that the U.S. has yet to finally determine whether it will stay on course with the treaty, but underscored that Washington, quote, can't continue to tolerate Russian non-compliance with the treaty. So they're basically saying you guys have to fall in line or else, right? Some folks think, well, what is going to happen in the election? What's going to happen with the next guy? We don't know. Now, again, they are basically saying that they're not putting up with that again. Now, check this out. Pentagon preps nuclear moon rocket. Now, we've just had something passed not too long ago, basically saying that anybody could put nuclear things with the proper permission into space, and now they're doing it. It says the Pentagon wants to extend its reach of satellites tens of thousands of miles toward the moon, and it's working on a high-tech, atomic-powered nuclear thermal propulsion engine to make it possible. It says the military goal is to deploy maneuverable satellites into the vast space between Earth and the moon, cislunar space. It's called before China gets there with its own spacecraft. So now we have somewhat of a little supposed race here. It says, but this isn't the first time that the U.S. government has tried to develop an atomic rocket, and there's no guarantee the same problems that ended previous efforts won't scuttle this one. The capability afforded by nuclear thermal propulsion will expand the operating presence of the U.S. in space to the cislunar volume and enhance domestic operations to a new high ground, which is in danger of being defined by the adversary. That was a quote by the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA, which oversees the atomic rocket effort. So they're doing a lot of big things here. Now, remember, we said China supposedly landed on the far side of the moon. They say they're growing cotton. They're doing all these things. I think that there's something going on with asteroids. That's my personal opinion, and you guys are welcome to call in and give me your own. We love to hear all different opinions here, and of course you can disagree and then call in with yours. But check this out. There's been a lot of stuff about the asteroids. Almost every country has been doing all sorts of weird things. I'm going to show you here in a second that multiple high-end CEOs are stepping down. Is this because of the virus, or is this because of something else? I don't know. Maybe they want to spend time with family before something. I don't know. It says the U.S. and Chinese space agencies have space agencies and even private corporations are eager to mine the moon. What did they find there? For minerals that could support deep space missions, potentially including humanity's first trip to Mars. I do want to mention something that's crazy. Back in the 80s, Bob Lazar, who is famous for essentially saying that he worked at Area 51, or I think it was subsection 4 or sub 4, whatever it was called. And he talked about the 115th element on the periodic table. He talked about it before it existed. I want you guys to know there's been a lot of weird things here. I think that a lot of people are starting to believe Bob Lazar because of that element. That is a big thing. He talked about an element that didn't exist on the periodic table back in the 80s by name. He said the 115th element, everything else, talked about what it was. And then in 2013, it was discovered. They actually discovered element 115, a brand new element on the periodic table. So we have not figured it out, and that was actually made with nuclear fission. So things are going on. Since 2013, there's been crazy advances in different nuclear fields, and that's what I'm hearing from our military sources. That's what I'm hearing from my military group, that there's new technology that essentially no one could even imagine being possible. There's been technology like this a long time ago, but now it's even getting crazier. This, according to some of these military folks I'm talking to, combined with the technology that possibly came from wherever it came from, this is recovered technology, whether it be from Russia or outer space, is going to make things that literally don't make sense to human beings as we know of. This is crazy stuff. I mean, literally, in our lifetime, if we live long enough, if we don't screw up and destroy the world, are going to see things that you right now would say that's science fiction, that's special effects. This is coming, and it's coming very quickly. So I just want you guys to know, I can't say much more than that, but this is a big, 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 big deal. Very, 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 very crazy things going on above us and below us. If you guys have not already, please support us by getting a virtual private network. It is a huge deal to protect yourself, especially from cyber threats. As far as NordVPN, it's one of the easiest services. If you've ever heard about a VPN, people are using it for all different kinds of purposes, but mainly it's to protect yourself against the bad guys. If you worked super hard for your credit score or anything else, then you should protect it. If you're on the computer, if you're on YouTube, if you're anywhere, if you're emailing people, one link is all it takes for them to invade and actually get your IP address, get your credit card numbers, all sorts of things. Again, you can go to marfooglenews.com/VPN, and you can get up to 80% off on their best plan. So it's actually less to go through us, not more. It doesn't cost you a thing. It helps us. And again, that's up to 6 simultaneous devices being used. So your cell phone, your tablet, your kid's cell phone, tablet, and your home PC. Again, that's marfooglenews.com/VPN Nord. It's one of the most advanced systems in the world. Go and get it. All right, thank you for that. And then former okay, this is weird. Former DHS whistleblower Philip, I don't even want to say his last name. They're going to ding this. Found D of gunshot wound in Armador County. I bet it was self-inflicted in the back, right? It says, no, I'm just kidding. A Department of Homeland Security whistleblower was found shot to death in Armador County over the weekend, and contrary to previous reports, investigators have not classified his death as a suicide. It says on Friday morning around 10 a.m., Philip body was found in a park and ride open area immediately near State Highway 16, near State Highway 124, about 40 miles east of Sacramento. It says everything we saw on scene is consistent with somebody putting a gun to themselves and pulling the trigger, said Armador County Sheriff Office's Undersheriff Gary Redman. We are not making a statement that this was, in fact, a suey. It says previous reports did indicate that it was a suey, but deputies haven't made that determination yet. Every death that occurs in the county, when it comes to something like this, we treat it and look at it as a homicide until we prove otherwise. That's actually, that's how it should be. But again, even if it was proved as a homie, then they would just mysteriously lose evidence and go, oh, it actually was a suey. That's it. Okay, those are the codes we're going to use for YT. Homie and suey. There we go. Homie and suey. Hillary and her suey team. Says authorities have requested help from the FBI to analyze documents, phone records, a laptop recovered from the stream, and from Hanny's RV. They're also being asked to analyze Hanny's vehicle, a firearm found at the scene, and Hanny's RV again. So, obviously, there's a lot of us that see this and we just kind of know what it is. It's usually a mandatory suey, if you know what I mean. Now, check this out. I'm going to look more into it, and we're going to update you if we find anything else out. It says, man accused of trying to blow up car in Pentagon parking lot. Of course there is, right? There's all sorts of things going on. It says, an Arkansas man will make his initial appearance in federal court at 2 p.m. Charges relating to his alleged attempt blowing up a vehicle at the Pentagon yesterday. What if this was bigger as part of a bigger plan? I don't know. It's been a long time since we had a huge event happen. This very well could have just been a kind of one-off. Maybe the guy was just pissed off. We don't exactly know the real story yet. It says after the officer approached Richardson, the defendant allegedly told the officer he was going to, quote, blow his this vehicle up and himself. And when the officer attempted to detain Richardson pulled away and ran across the parking lot towards Virginia State Route 110 and onto the Route 27. A subsequent review of surveillance camera footage showed that Richardson jumped over a fence into Arlington National Cemetery, which is right there, and Richardson was later found by Pentagon Force Protection Agency police. What is that? P for pap? P for pap? The PFPAPE. Oh, wow, it even goes long. The P for PRAPPERT. The PERT Plus. We'll just call it PERT Plus. Says according to court documents, after a search of Richardson, officers allegedly discovered cigarette lighter, gloves, and court documents related to Richardson's arrest on or about February 22nd for 2 counts of felony assault on a law officer in Arlington County. So I know people that have actually had weird encounters with police have been actually set up in some cases. So there's a lot of weird stuff. We will look into this and see what the deal with this is. But this sounds kind of weird. And of course, we probably won't know the details, judging that it was the PFPAPERT, which is probably extremely secretive. If you guys are missing notifications, if you're wondering like, hey, you guys were gone for 3 days, we didn't know what you were doing, you got to get on marfooglenews.com, get the notifications. Again, this is not absolute. Apples have a problem getting these notifications. We're working on that. We have iOS coming soon. But if you combine this with Twitter, if you combine this with YouTube notifications and if, community posts, then you will for sure absolutely know. We are actually putting on the website where we put a schedule when we can put a schedule, and we take it down when we can't have a schedule just because of how things are going. Our goal is to actually have an absolute schedule, but another thing that I need you guys to know is that people are, basically saying, oh, you're never putting out this documentary. We spend 8 to 12 hours on a show like this every day that we're doing it. So there's absolutely no chance on a show day that I can do anything related to the documentary I'm doing. I can't go out and film. I can't travel to locations. I can't do interviews with people in person. I have to basically load up all my camera gear, everything that I have. It just doesn't work. I think it's more important than ever right now to warn people about Cascadia Subduction Zone. With everything that's going on with the virus, I also think that this could hit us right in the left side of our face without anybody knowing. I know for a fact that they thought it was going to go off 2 or 3 years ago. That's what military FEMA liaison told me. We thought it was going to happen years ago. Years. So at any moment, they have to have four planned routes to get to work after the earthquake. 4 calculated routes and basically be able to go anywhere. They all have bug out bags in their bag. And then I found out FEMA 10 when I went there. I went to FEMA Region 10. The security guard said that we don't have supplies. Washington will not have supplies. So here's the cool part. If you are stockpiling for this virus, if you're especially in the West Coast or no matter where you are, like preparedness said, that's not going to be a bad thing. Look at what happened in Italy. Italy hit and a bunch of cases happened all at once. And then guess what? Shelves were empty and nobody could get food. Nobody could get anything. Go to marfooglenews.com, sign up for notifications, but also sign up for alerts. It's a huge deal. We have a lot of people talking to us right now. We're going to make sure that you guys know everything. And again, if some people said, oh, he's gone for 3 days, they're bugged out. I would tell people the whole point of gathering people and getting people into state groups. If I'm going to go, if I'm leaving and just taking my family with, I would let you guys know first. I promise you that. Any way I could. I would email, I would community post. If there was no internet, I would literally, we're in contact with ham radio groups around the country too. I'm trying to get connected with our own and everything else. So don't worry. We will let you guys know. We do have to build a system so people can let people know without the internet. That's a big deal. Okay, and then again, marfooglenews.com. Herpes riddled monkeys rampage as humans infected by out-of-control macaques. Now, this sounds like a funny thing, and some people might say it is. But again, this is something that a lot of people think is very telling of kind of the things, the viruses and the things from monkeys and from animals. It says monkeys infected with herpes who are running rampant in Florida are soon going to multiply out of control with attacks of humans expected to rise. So in Florida, that's just... that's crazy. It says rhesus macaques are on the rampage on the banks of the Silver River in Florida and are constantly breeding and expanding their range. Scientists have said that their population expands. They will continue to come into contact with humans, leading to more scratches, bites, and potentially fatal infections. So stay away from those macaques. And then Bob Iger. Okay, this is the start of something big. So I'm going to tell you guys right now, pay attention to these very closely. We think that this is way, way bigger than anybody knows, and we've got to be careful how we say this. I'm going to let you do the math on this. Bob Iger to step down as Disney CEO, effective immediately. Now, it says essentially in this article that he was planning on 2021, so he was planning in a year. He was doing a normal stint as the CEO. They had a very scheduled thing out. It says Bob Iger will step down as Disney CEO. Disney, huge company. Disney World in China, closed down. Disney World in California. Think about this. Who's going to want to go to Disney World in Florida, California, any of these places with this virus running rampant? 7,600 people on watch, supposedly. Might be more now. We don't know. In California. Who is going to want to stand in line with 2,000 people? Who's going to want to go to this if the U.S. gets as bad as other places? Imagine the financial tear that this will take at Disney. Now, again, Disney also makes products. Where are those made? Over there. A lot of them. And then, again, they actually have cruise lines. Do you think cruises are doing too well right now? Probably not. So I see there's a couple ways to look at this. This CEO is stepping down before these numbers come out of how horribly these numbers look. Would you not, like Dex said, want to step out on top? Dex, what do you think about this? And then we're going to go over the other CEOs, elites, top elites.
So yeah, certainly it is obvious that you could draw that conclusion. And like you said, we want to be careful how we phrase this, because we're not actually saying, I mean, the guy could have other personal reasons why he's stepping down, but to have a plan and then all of a sudden shock Wall Street and come out and say you're doing it immediately a year early. And it's also on the heels of everything that's going on in the 2 days in a row, the market tanking over CV scares. We're hearing left and right companies that are retracting their forecasts, changing their information, saying they can't live up to what they said they were going to do because of CV, whether it's supply chain issues in China, or, in this case, this company, not only does it make products, but it sells movie tickets, right? I mean, like, they literally produce movies, and if people aren't going to go gather in a movie theater to watch a movie, and that's going to hurt their business. If they're not going to go into the gates and stand around 1 million people in a huge theme park when everybody's got masks on because they're worried about coronavirus, that's going to hurt their business, right? So it may be an obvious timing, in my opinion, on when you see some of these CEOs stepping down.
Well, it's legendary, right? I mean, if you were the CEO of Disney, that's kind of a legendary position as far as one of the most magical companies in the world to work for, right? Would you want to stay on a year and then be the CEO that's in charge while the entire company takes a crap?
Yeah, and he is the CEO that actually was there as CEO, I believe, when they opened Shanghai Disneyland.
And
I think he's got that under his belt.
Shanghai Disneyland is now being used to house victims, which is pretty nuts. And it is closed. Now, check this out. MasterCard CEO Ajay Banga has stepped down. These are big companies, and I bet you over the next week we're going to see more of this. We've got more. It says MasterCard President and CEO Ajay Banga speaks to attendees during a Department of Homeland Security's Cybersecurity Summit in Manhattan. So the gentleman is speaking with Homeland Security. Probably has a huge connect there, probably part of the Berg group. It says, Banga, who took over as CEO in April 2010, will become executive chairman. Maybach will take over the company's president on March 1st. Chairman Richard Hawthorne will retire after more than a decade in the role. When Banga assumes his new role, the company said in a statement. So I want to show you these guys.
This is like 2 days or the day after they came out and announced, and this is not in this article, but MasterCard came out and announced, hey, coronavirus or CV is going to hurt us. It's going to harm our numbers. We're going to have a really, we don't know exactly, but we're expecting to see a downturn because so many people are not going to be doing transactions because they're not, out shopping, they're not traveling, they're not spending, etc.
Isn't that weird that he's announcing this at the Homeland Security Cybersecurity Summit? MasterCard CEO, MasterCard. Can you imagine how much the CEO of a credit card company makes? I can't. And again, this one just to show you real quick. Stop this. Go to this. Bam. Let's see here. Oh, no, this one. Just to show you a picture of the gentleman. Bob Iger. These guys... It's really weird timing. Update. MGM Resorts withdraws. Wait a second. I missed one here. This is the one, right? MGM Resorts International said on Wednesday, Chief Executive Officer, CEO Jim Murren will step down, and the U.S. casino operator withdrew its financial forecast for 2020 as it assesses. So, wait. So you're saying that he actually took back and said he's not going to say their numbers?
Yep, that's exactly what he did. For example, they run multiple casinos. MGM is huge, right? I mean, it's not just the MGM Grand in Vegas. It's the Mirage, right? We all know the Mirage from the big event back in a few years ago. And he was actually the CEO at the time. And reportedly, some people were alleging that he sold a lot of stock right before that event. Kind of interesting that happened. But He has come out and said, hey, we're changing all the numbers. We don't know what the number is going to be because they forecast this stuff, like in the beginning of the quarter, they'll say, hey, we expect to reach these numbers by the end of the quarter. Now they're saying, hey, we can't. The CV is causing us not to be able to do that. For example, they have a handful of casinos in Macau, or I can't remember the name.
Macau.
It's not Morocco. It's another location, and they've been shut down because of the CV outbreak. And I promise you, as we've been told by the CDC and others, as this evolves here, you're not going to go into Vegas and want to put your hands all over a slot machine.
Or on chips.
Or on all those chips, those cards. Yeah.
Even if they have the kind of token cards kind of thing like the new casinos have, none of that. Yeah. Pull. Yeah. I wouldn't be touching any slot machines with a pull. No thanks. And especially with just how it is there too. Think about the smokers too. If somebody had CV and was smoking, you could physically see the virus literally getting pulled up. So one thing is, are they doing this over the numbers, or are they also doing this because they're leaving? Maybe they're preparing to get out of the way. Maybe they're preparing to go to their own little planned destinations. Why are so many CEOs doing it exact timing? And we're talking about, there's more than this. If you look at the group of the guys that went the Berg groups, you will see that there's even more. Why are they doing it all at the same time? Did they get the memo? What is the memo? What is going on? This is real. This is not something big is going on, and of course we can see it down the pipeline. We're going to talk about what they're saying about it. They're saying it is a matter of time. Even the ones that said 3 weeks ago, oh, it will be fine, they're now saying it's a matter of time before this turns into a full-blown pan.
And Adam, you said there's more. I mean, these are not as big, but Uber Eats CEO stepped down. Salesforce co-CEO. Salesforce is huge, by the way. We wouldn't talk about them here, and anybody here really doesn't know about them. But they're sort of like, a large Oracle type company. They do a lot of business sales. Huge company. Their CEO, the co-CEO, just stepped down. And there's plenty of others.
So what does this all mean? Why are elites stepping down these 2 days out of any day, right? What's going on? Why all of a sudden? Why not in a year? Obviously, you could say all these companies are going to go to crap and the CEOs have been fired because, no. More so, you could say they're doing it on their own reasons, so they're not CEO when the company takes a dive. All of the companies. This is going to affect us economically worse than anything else, is what is coming from a ton of people. So just to repeat, this is not to panic people. This is to inform you guys that this is a real deal thing. There's a lot of people going around saying a lot of false stuff. We're not here to have you sell your house and take your kids out of school. We're here to spread the word and to let you guys know what is absolutely going on. We are here to bring you into our groups so you have friends in the state. If something does go wrong, anything goes wrong. Imagine if there's any kind of natural disaster and you have 20, 30, 40, 100 people that you can trust, or at least that have your back just because you're a part of these groups and just because you guys all basically predicted this coming. We don't think you're crazy. I don't think you're crazy, and that's why I started this. I started this by doing little videos in my car. Now we have groups all over the country and all over the world, actually. We have actual groups that meet in person and talk prep, talk disaster relief. So please, think about what is going on in other countries. Think about what is happening in stores. Shelves empty. What would you do? It's just so easy. If the stores are stocked right now, perfectly fine. Which, by the way, Dex, you even noticed something in Georgia. Can you let us know what that was?
Yeah, absolutely. I was we went shopping the other day. It was Sunday evening, and it was really weird. Like we walked in, the place was packed, and you would think like it was like they had forecasted snow. I literally took the phone out. I'm like, did they put snow in our forecast? Because here in Georgia, when it snows, everybody just buys everything off the shelf because we think the world's coming to an end with a few snowflakes. But we went in and it was crazy. And we came back later because we were dropping off something, and we had to come back and pick it up in order. And when we came back, it was literally, we actually did some shopping, and it was like all the staple stuff, like pastas and canned foods, and even bleach down the bleach aisle in the grocery store. I couldn't believe how much was pulled off the shelves, how indented the stock looked in those particular sections. So it is clear, and this was 2 days ago. So today is Tuesday. This was on Sunday. So it's clear that before the mass media started talking more about, what's happened here with the market and with mainstream sort of getting into the message here for the U.S. and especially today, what the CDC announced, which we can talk about in a little bit. It just seemed even then we had enough people that were starting to make a dent in shelves. So I know other people have reported seeing dents in the shelves or in the inventory at Whole Foods and other locations as well. So I'm not saying run out and panic, but be aware. Make sure you've got your necessities, and you should be,
what if nothing?
Storing things.
What if nothing happens again, but your stores are still empty for no reason? Say the scare goes big and you're just trying to feed your kids for a week and you can't. There's no CV, there's no threat, but yet, is that what everybody else is going to do? What if you actually don't, nothing's going on, but you still can't go to the store and get anything because their shelves are empty? Why not have some stuff to survive for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Homeland Security actually warns us that we need 6 months to a year worth of supplies. That's Department of Homeland Security, which again is now rubbing elbows with all these CEOs, and they're all saying, I'm out of here. What's going on? I want to show you something. This is a graph, and it's a live graph, and it's going to show you the growth of the different the viruses, the ones that everybody compares. It's just another SARS. It's just another MERS swine flu thing. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys this. This is quite creepy, and I'm also going to play my own music over it because it probably has music in it. Remember, that's SARS. Now, remember, this was the line because of the no reporting, and then boom, the exponential growth of this is absolutely stunning. It is unlike anything we've ever seen in modern day, and people that are still denying it are secretly going to the store and buying up crap. Even the skeptics, and I've seen it, and I know a couple people that they say publicly on their YouTube channels that they are, this and this and that. But those same people are texting other YouTubers secretly and saying, what do I get? What do I need? No offense, brother. I told you before. These are the skeptics. These are the people that are telling you it's just another swine. flu. Then they call up other people. Hey, what do I get? What do I need to get? But don't publicly want to go back on what they already said. It's pretty big. These people are respected too. I respect them. And I respected their view. But it's pretty crazy to have them call and say, hey, I need your help. What do I get? How much do I need? What can I do? How do I get it? I don't have the money for all, 6 months a year. Like I say to everybody, and like Alaskan Prepper and Equine Prepper and all these good prepper channels, Canadian Prepper, all these folks, do it a little bit at a time. At least, you should have started months ago. But start now, just a little bit. Go to the food bank if you have to. Get some canned food. If you're on a budget, just get a little bit. But right now, it's coming to the point where, think about it, even if it doesn't hit, even if it never hits your city, what if the panic hits your city? And then you have nothing in the stores. What happened in Italy can happen anywhere. It's happened all over the world. And now they're saying it's just a matter of time. So I'm gonna show you guys this. Let's see here. Let me go back to that. Let's go to this. Time is everything. World braces for the spread of the new virus. China's massive travel restrictions, house-to-house checks, huge isolation wards, and lockdowns of entire cities bought the world valuable time to prepare for the global spread of the new virus. Now remember, this is AP News, Associated Press. But with the troubling outbreaks now emerging in Italy, South Korea, and Iran, which remember, it went from like 2 people that passed away to all of a sudden, like, what is it now? 13? Something like that. Like, boom. Just like that. After a couple days of not covering stuff, I'm like, wow. So if the numbers are like that, do you really believe some of the other numbers that were coming out originally? Because how many people was that out of, right? Iran's not this huge thing. There wasn't 20,000 in Iran. There was only a few. It says, but with troubling outbreaks now emerging, it says it's not so much of a question of if this will happen anymore, but rather of a question of exactly when this will happen. And now many people in this country will have severe illness, said Dr. Nancy Messonnier of the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. So that's the CDC telling you will get sick, essentially. Many will have illness. Is it time to think about some options? Possibly. Some countries are putting price caps on face masks to combat price gouging, while others are using loudspeakers on trucks to keep residents informed. In the United States and many other nations, public health officials are turning to guidelines written for pandemic flu and discussing the possibility of school closures, telecommuting, and canceling events. Countries could be doing more, even more, training hundreds of workers to trace the virus spread from person to person and planning to commandeer entire hospital wards or even entire hospitals, said Dr. Bruce Aylward. It says the World Health Organization's envoy to China briefing reporters Tuesday about lessons learned by the recently returned team of international scientists he led. It says time is everything in this disease. Days make a difference with a disease like this. The U.S. National Institute of Health Infectious Disease Chief Dr. Anthony Fauci said that the world's, quote, is teetering very, very close to a pandemic. He credits China's response for giving other nations some breathing room. Again, this is breathing room. This is still happening. China locked down tens of millions of its citizens, and other nations imposed travel restrictions, reducing the number of people who needed health checks or quarantines outside the Asian country. It gave us time to really brush off our pandemic preparedness plans and get ready for the kinds of things we have to do. Fauci said, and we've actually been quite successful because the travel-related cases we've been able to identify, to isolate, and to track down those they came in contact with. With no vaccine or medicine available yet, preparations are focused on what's called social distancing, limiting opportunities for people to gather and spread the virus. Wow. So, judging by this, I'm asking all of my state groups. I think that we, for the time being, need to really get good at Skype meetings, and possibly do panels. Do panels with your state. And in fact, this is just a suggestion. For those of you who want to still do it, I would suggest wearing masks or doing something else. Just my suggestion is possibly getting on Skype and doing these. Maybe more people will even show up. If you actually go to any of the panels on DLive, you'll see people do this all the time. It's so relatively easy. You can have a ton of people on there. I mean, like 20, 30. Or how many people can you put on Zoom? Isn't it some crazy amount, Dex?
Yeah, it's quite a bit. I think only so many can show at the screen at once, but
yeah,
you
it's
can
like
have a lot of people.
Well, 9 people can show, but you can have like 50 people or something crazy like that. But if you see, they do it. It's not hard at all. You invite all these people. You can do group calls. If you watch Red Pill 78, you'll see that he does it a lot. He'll have 3, 4, 5 people. So I'll just wait. Actually, let me see. Hold on. Look here. I was just going to try to find a panel. It will look like that. So I'm just saying. I'm actually saying. I've said the whole time, like, just keep, don't let this stop you. But I don't know. I think it's actually even better. I think people will show up more. I think that people need to make time. I think you guys need to do this. Either way, if you do a physical group, I will be more than happy to show up, like always. Again, I spend a lot of my off days, Sundays and Mondays, actually meeting with the state groups, which have continued to grow, continued to get bigger and bigger. So I appreciate all of you guys that run the groups. I would just say, though, everything that's going around secretly and publicly and secretly, that's the thing. They're not telling you some of the big stuff. And if they're hiding that, then that means it's about time we start getting our stuff together. It says, live update, spread of CV in U.S. appears inevitable. Health officials warn U.S. financial markets drop sharply. So this is going to affect economy, and it's going to affect physically. So if I'm like really putting my heart out to some of the folks that are basically paycheck to paycheck. They're really hurting, especially the ones with kids. We're trying to put together so much right now, and we're trying to do, good for the community. So I hope that we can figure out a way, and I'm open to ideas. I'm very open on ideas. Feel free to call in at 224-400-MARF. What can we do to help the community as far as how can we deal with this? How can we be our own group? How can we be our own force? Marfoogle News. Marfoogle is not me. Marfoogle is this group. If you guys want me to change the name, we can be the MF Mafia. I don't care. Whatever. Mafia. We can be whatever you guys want. But people need to start representing this as a group, as themselves, as something that, that this is bigger than me. This is people all over the country and all over the world that honestly want to be ready for anything and everything. Health officials in the United States warned Tuesday that the spread of the novel CV in the country appears inevitable, marking a significant change in tone as global travel disruptions continue to worsen. South Korea neared 1,000 cases. Italy saw a 45% one-day increase in cases, and Iran reported at least 15 deaths. How many people had it if it was 15? China and South Korea announced new cases of the CV, raising concerns in both nations about how long it could take for normal life to return. Normal life. Do you guys realize what we have right now we're taking for granted? These are other very modernized civilizations. These aren't third world countries. These are places with businesses and shiny lights and New York type streets that are shutting down. So I hope you don't listen to the 3 or 4 people going, whatever, it's just trying to, coal us into sleeping. The thing is we are so used to being lied to, even the best of us can't believe it when actually something does happen. It's the boy who cried wolf, and now finally the wolf is here.
Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I can piggyback off of the CDC warning that's been going around that we've talked about already a little bit, some of the other things that I took note of from that update that they put out today, they are actually asking the American public to prepare that this will be bad, right? That's what they're saying. But they're saying, hey, we expect schools to close. We expect people to start doing teleworking. They want schools to figure out how to do, tele schooling or internet-based studies, so they don't have to go into schools. They're asking businesses to replace in-person meetings with video or telephone conferences and increase, the teleworking options, as they call them. And they're actually suggesting that local communities and cities may need to modify, this is their quote, modify or postpone or cancel all mass gatherings. This is coming directly from the CDC today.
Think about how many people this will affect. If you're an Uber driver, who's going to want to Uber drive doing this? If you are a delivery person, if you are in the restaurant business, if you are in all these different things, if you are a school teacher, if you are a federal worker, if you're a mailman, think about how many people this is going to affect. This is down to the point where if we're talking in a month from now, schools closing and doing online schooling is essentially homeschooling. I just think about all the positions that cannot do their job from home. All of the people that are already on either minimum wage or above that are struggling from paycheck to paycheck. What if their business is closed down? Do you have a plan for what you'll do? Do you even have supplies? How are you going to cover rent? This is so big.
Well, even simple things, Adam, like if, even if you kept your job and you were working, but the schools are closed, do you have care for your children, right? If you're a parent with younger children, how are you going to take care of them when you're used to them being at school all day long, right?
What if daycare closes?
Exactly.
So I'm really, really praying. I'm praying hard. And I don't care if you're Christian or whatever you are, that's totally fine. In my personal case, I'm praying to Jesus. I'm praying to God. I'm praying to the entire everything right now, that we can get people to heed the warning and to understand that this is the real wolf, and to basically put some boards up against the wall because he's trying to blow the house down. It says U.S. Airlines on Monday said that they would waive cancellation and charge fees for travelers booked to South Korea as the CV spreads beyond China, prompting a warning from government officials about travel there. Earlier on Monday, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention warned travelers to avoid non-essential travel to South Korea. I want to do this, and I want to have people understand that part of this is that we need to live life. We need to understand that this is knocking at our door. And we take everything we have, especially Americans or even Europeans or Australians or Denmark or Norway, wherever you're watching me from, we are taking life for granted right now. So understand that every single day on this earth, breathing the air that you're breathing, what if one day or next week you can't breathe? That's the scariest part too. This is affecting people's lungs. That scares me. My biggest fear, and I've said this many times on many of my shows, that would be the worst way I think to go, is not being able to breathe or barely being able to breathe. That's why I've seen family members that had emphysema and COPD, and I think it's the worst way to go personally. Where my grandma asked my aunt to literally throw, and was telling her seriously, throw the chair through the window. She was on oxygen. She couldn't breathe. She said, throw the chair through the window. I need fresh air. Absolutely horrible. So this is something that, we can actually, if we act serious now, we could potentially try to stop it in its tracks. So they need to, if the economy is going to go belly up, think about the rioting and think of the other stuff that could happen too. Either way, what if we do shut down everything for a week? What if they spent the money to get people for 14 days to just stop working, stop everything in the entire world shuts down for 2 weeks? That's not possible either, huh? Nothing's possible. We can't stop for 1 day. We can't stop for 2 weeks, let alone. But that's kind of what would be required to stop this from transmitting everywhere. If you guys want to help support us in a different way, you guys can go check out Earthing. If you're going to be spending 2 weeks in home, you might not want to go outside. Who knows? I don't know. But in all seriousness, I use this and I do it for myself. They're grounding mats. Essentially, that's the majority of what they do. You can also get the patches that you actually plug in. But mainly, I use the bed mat. And when I sleep on it, it's grounding. So it's essentially like sleeping outside on the ground, only in the comfort of your nice, comfy bed. Or you can get mats for in front of your computer. You can actually ground when you're doing that. The thing is this is something that you can do for free. But again, most people can't stand outside for 8 hours a day. But you can put this on your bed and sleep for 8 hours a night. They're amazing. If you've never heard of earthing or grounding, I would suggest going to the actual website there at the top, marfooglenews.com/GT. 25 medical studies that back it up. It is the remarkable grounding science of grounding, the earthing movie. And then, of course, if you would like to support us, you can go to marfooglenews.com/earthing. You can get the products at no additional cost to yourself. But again, it actually helps us at the same time. It is all about inflammation, and that's what it helps. Desperate to stop virus spread, countries limit travel. We've shown you this all over the world. They are limiting travel right now. This is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, exponentially. We're gonna go into depth, into detail. We're gonna do another CV only episode, and it's gonna be nuts. You guys are gonna be blown away by this stuff. I'm also talking to military sources to see if they can publicly speak. We're gonna try to get some of them on. This is big. Clusters of illness continued to balloon outside of mainland China, fueling apprehension across the globe that was reflecting in sagging financial markets. The crisis pushed into areas seen among the worst equipped to deal with the outbreak, as well as some of the world's richest nations, including South Korea and Italy. As it proliferates, the virus is bringing a surge of urgency for local officials determined to contain it, but often unsure how. It's a matter of speed and time. We must create a clear turning point within this week, they said. That was President Moon Jae in South Korea, where the caseload grew by 144 with a total of 977 people sickened. So out of 1,000, almost 150 died? What is that? 15% ratio? Cases of people who could have been infected. Many others spurred fears. Korean Air said one of its crew members tested positive, but the airline didn't disclose the flights the employee had worked on. See, what is that stupidity, right? If you don't tell people what flights she was on, then how the hell do you track the people that were on the damn flights? What if I was on one of the flights? I would want to know. Then I could go in and get tested. That's just dumb. Look at this. Also testing positive was the head of Iran's virus task force. And do you think that this guy, this virus task force gentleman, wasn't well prepared and cleared and cleaned? Do you think he wasn't wearing a full-on suit? And he still got it? Who just a day earlier gave a news conference in Tehran in which he tried to minimize the danger posed by the outbreak? irony. In Italy's north, where more than 200 people were sick and a dozen towns were sealed off. Do you guys realize what's happening? Not only China, but now Italy is sealing towns in. What happens when your neighborhood is sealed in by brick and mortar? This is huge. 2 neighbors of Italy, Croatia, and Austria reported their first cases of the virus. This is the woof. Top investor asks for advice on stockpiling food. Can you explain this one, Dex?
Yeah, that one didn't load right, Adam. But if you just click on the original and show it, because I'm looking at it here and it.
No, go ahead, and because this
but
you
yeah,
added this one.
This
go
is
ahead.
an advisor, a financial advisor with a blue check mark on Twitter. So he's a famous guy, and he's basically asking advice from his Twitter following on what are the best things to stockpile. And then he like, first world problem says, and I want to keep it keto friendly. But it's kind of telling that you see these people who have not thought about stockpiling, have not thought about preparing for a disaster, whether it's an earthquake or something else that or in this case a pandemic that can cause us to be quarantined or cause other problems to happen. People aren't preparing, and so now he's asking for help on how to prepare. But yeah, everything that's on the screen there, Adam, is the wrong article.
I know. I pulled up the original.
Funny when I read it, I was like, wait a minute, that's not it.
Talking about animal sperm.
Yeah.
It literally has the headline, but it shows something about animal sperm and going extinct, and I just kept seeing sperm.
You win some, you lose some, right?
Yeah. So Dex does a lot of the technical.
You can see his tweet there in the picture.
So
but, yeah, it's pretty crazy what that.
So again,
it's a
Dex,
good example of what's happening.
So Dex has come up with a lot of different ways, cool ways. So again, you guys probably don't even notice it. But before every show, take this one for example, right? This, let's see. This article. It's got ads going everywhere. It has coupon codes and wiki buy and all this crap. Before each and every show, we take this and put it over to this. What would you rather see on screen? So these are things that people don't even notice that we do before each and every show. Instead of this, which everybody else does, we do this. So then you've got it's much cleaner. It's less just stuff all everywhere. That's why it takes so long to produce a show at this caliber. Now, sorry. Got a geo-engineered frog in my throat. Sorry. These empty shelves, though, this is for real. This is what Italy looks like. And we need to seriously think about getting stuff now before this happens and just put it off on the side. This one I've got to be careful on. I want you guys to go to our website to look at this. It says Border Patrol agents provided respirators to deal with immigrants crossing from Mexico. The reason why I want to be careful about this one is because of the source. It comes from Mr. AJ. So I want you guys to go and actually check this one out. I don't want, because they can say anything, even if it's absolutely 100% true, the stuff they put out can be considered FN. So again, got to be careful with that. Okay, on the main tip though, with everything that's going on right now, people need to be checking this out. This is besides us. So this does help our channel, but this affiliate is so absolutely important right now. EMP Shield, period. Even if you go around us, if you go to somebody else who sells it, or if you go and you do not put our information in, people need to be looking at EMP Shield. Everything that's going on in space, everybody's talking about the CV and everything else. They could use the CV if it hits the U.S. or any other country. They could use this as a weakened point to hit us with other stuff. I have shown you over the last 2 years how many real and absolute ways that our U.S. government is preparing to be hit by an EMP or a CME. Again, even if no country hits us with an EMP, a CME happens about every 100 years, and the last time it happened is way overdue. The last time it actually happened, we did not have the electronics we had today. We had telegraphs and things like this, and all of our stuff was totally screwed up last time this happened. And that was the beginning of electricity. Now, our entire world, our entire infrastructure is electrical. It is all at risk of going down with one huge EMP. We're talking about if an EMP hits the United States, as said by our president, by the Homeland Security, the reason why they said we need to prepare for 6 months to a year is because if an EMP knocks out our power, it would take anywhere from 9 months to 2 years to get it up running. They say 90% of the population would perish, and that's because of overall an inability to get fresh and clean water. So again, you can protect yourself. Main thing is people goes, well, who cares if you block the EMP if the grid doesn't go back up? Well, here's the cool part. You can get it for your vehicle, and you can get it for your generator, your solar system. Think about any one of these three. If you have a generator or 2 generators or 3, that's recommended by friends of mine that say I should have 3 generators. If you have this protected, if you have an EMP shield wired in, then you have a generator after 20 EMPs, 30 EMPs. Again, it was tested for multiple. Then if you have gas stored up, these 2 things can power you indefinitely. But again, how are you going to use the devices in your home if they're fried? So these 2, very important if you're bugging in. These 3, if you are planning on bugging out. Or if you have your solar system. Any one of these things that's protected, they can withstand multiple huge EMPs. E1, E2, and E3, they can handle all 3. Now, again, even if you go around us, make sure you know that this I do because I really think that this is going to be an issue in the future. So, if you want to get it through us and support us, you can go to marfooglenews.com/EMP. They're handmade in Kansas. It's veteran-owned. It's 100% made in America. So, appreciate your support. But again, even if you don't, we've shown you what the proof is that they are preparing for it. So why aren't we? Virus cases jump in South Korea to 346. China daily count drops. SK on Saturday reported a 6-fold jump in viral infections in 4 days to 346, most of them linked to a church and a hospital in and around the 4th largest city, where schools were closed and worshipers and others were told to avoid mass gatherings. So again, they're saying that it's only a matter of time before this comes here. Schools closed, mass gatherings closed, churches closed, everything's done. Initial infections were linked to China, but new cases in South Korea and Iran, where there have been 4 deaths, don't show a clear connection to travel there. Do you hear that? The new cases are not openly connected to China. So now it's spreading, and now it's doing it, and it's all by itself. That means this stupidity of seeing, somebody who's from China or a Chinese person and doing, it could be Mr., Joe white man over there or anybody. You just got to be careful. Again, Chinese residents and Chinese people are actually experiencing almost kind of this weird thing where people are like walking by somebody who looks of that descent and going, that's just dumb. You need to be careful in general of people, just in general. Like, we need to be smart. We need to be logical. We need to be sanitizing. We need to be cleaning surfaces. We need to not do what I just did, which is touching my face. You don't think about it. It's a habit. You do it all the time. You scratch, you do this, that. It's bad. So keep track. There's so much more coming. And then I pulled this in. This is a couple days old. This is old news by now. But the reason I want to tell you guys is we have been gone 3 or 4 days. So our Marfoogle audience, the people that just come to me for their news, I hope you know, 7,600 people are in their own kind of watch. And it says California health officials said Friday that 7,600 people who returned to the state after visiting China during the outbreak of the new virus have been asked to quarantine themselves at home this month as health officials try to stop the spread of the virus. The people returned to the U.S. on or after February 2nd are being asked to monitor their health, stay home, and limit interactions with others, the California Department of Public Health said in a statement. The department said that the number excludes those who visited China's Hubei province, where the disease known as COVID-19 originated. Americans who spent the time there in Hubei's province capital, Wuhan, have been flown home on U.S. chartered flights and quarantined on military bases. So what's funny is there's all over. I mean, these are not even the Hubei people. The Hubei people are directly taken to a military base, which, by the way, I tweeted out yesterday when I was going to to shoot the video, which I'm going to show you here in a second. I'm going to show you a teaser of what we were doing over this last 3 days. A non-tracked. What did you say that what I saw, Dex? Did you ever blow up the image? I don't know if you ever took.
Yeah, I couldn't identify it. It wasn't. There was only one helicopter in the sky, and it was a small. It looked like a tourist or private copter, and it was nothing like that.
So if you're from Seattle or from local, if you're going through downtown, Harbor View is right on the right side of the freeway. It's on the right side, and it kind of is a hill. So you've got the helicopter pad on top of Harbor View, probably 60 feet off of the top of where the overpass over the freeway is. A Apache, or not, I don't want to say Apache, a Black Hawk with the pointed end. I'll show you exactly the helicopter. And we know because we got a up close and personal look at it. Let's see. I want to say it was an Apache only because of the pointed end. Let me show you. I'm not an expert, but I can show you exactly the helicopter I saw was. Pulling off from Harbor View, that's not it. See, Apache's not it. Actually, it looked a lot like this. And it did not have weapons. But it was all black. So I wanted to say that it was Department of Homeland Security or from a military base. DHS helicopters. All black. And no stripe, no blue, no nothing. This isn't it either. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Let's see. And I'm telling you, this thing was pointed like a shark. Yeah, none of the... This actually looks a lot like what we saw. This, no weapons. This took off from the hospital, and it was up close. Doors closed, all black, no writing on the side, all black. Took off, went literally right over the freeway. Not tracked. You couldn't find it on flight radar. I took a video of it taking off, but I was so pissed. My Note 10 Plus had super rock steady on, so I couldn't pinch in and zoom. So I did get screenshot of it. I ended up putting in a community post. But check this out. We went to the Washington State Laboratories last night. Over the last few days, I've been doing video projects for Cascadia and for this. Check this out. So this is only a teaser, and this is nothing compared to the video I got. So check this out. This is the Washington State Laboratory. Here's the woman walking in, and these gray things right here are actually mobile stations, kind of like what you find at a fair, where they have sinks and to wash your hands. So that's their outdoor headquarters. Nobody's inside. And then you've got these trailers set up for the victims or the quarantined, right? So these are a group of trailers, which I'm going to end up showing you more of. But this is their mobile command center. So there's multiple officers. There's federal vehicles off to the right. There's DHS. There's black Suburbans. And then to your left, if you went farther left, you would see that there was a Highway State Patrol officer actually manning the gates. And he would hop out to let people out, hop out to let people in. So I went there, and what I noticed, and this is the place that's going to be taking care of the entire state. We're screwed. If this is the place, then we're screwed. And get where they put this. This is instead of North Bend. They moved it from a fire training academy, which was out in the boons, in the sticks, in the woods, off of a dirt road that's literally a windy dirt road that there's absolutely 0% chance that you would accidentally stumble onto. And instead, they put it right in the city. Why did they move it from out in the sticks to right in the middle of the city? Literally, if you look at a map, Fircrest High School, boom, literally 100 feet away from the thing. Fircrest, there's like an elementary, there's a daycare, there's many businesses, including Goodwill, all over the place. It's in the smack dab in the middle of Shoreline. And I asked people, I interviewed people, nobody even knew the damn thing was there. So if that's where they're going to keep the coronavirus, people don't even know the damn thing's there. There's no signs or anything. I would tell people. Nobody wanted to talk on camera. Everybody was taboo about CV. Nobody wanted to talk about it, period. I got 1 out of 70 people that I asked to talk, and I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna have to pay people $5 and say, hey, I'm gonna ask you 3 questions. $5, just do it. Because nobody wanted to. The second you mention CV, maybe it's because their brain is telling them, don't go and touch people, don't need to go near people. Maybe when people think about it, they go, like they're trying to forget about it. But once they hear it, they're like, oh, I don't want to talk to people. Even when I phrased it different ways, even when people said, oh, okay, sure, you talk about that. No, I don't want to talk about it. Why? It is so weird what is going on right now with the entire corona thing. People, just like our brains naturally go against talking about our own death, people don't want to talk about this. It's taboo. So I'm going to fly through the rest. Man high on zombie drug spice saws off his own leg and left with bloodied stump. I'm going to leave you guys to go and check that one out on your own. Very weird news. The last piece here, I want you guys to check this out. Texas DMV made $3 million last year selling drivers' personal information. Yes, selling your personal information. Apocalyptic locust swarms stops traffic as sky turns black in terrifying footage. It continues. This locust swarms, these plagues, not going away. In the clip, filmed by stunned witnesses covering in their car, a dark cloud of flying insects swarm above a road in the normally sunny Middle Eastern island nation. Look at this. Absolutely nuts. The stuff that we are seeing right now is biblical. It is absolutely biblical. We're going to send the link of that there, and then we are going to show you plenty more. It's just crazy. Plague of locusts threatens... Go ahead.
Go ahead, Adam. No, go ahead.
Plague of locusts threatens East African economies as UN sounds alarm. The United Nations. You go ahead and you want to actually describe this?
Well, no, I was just going to say we also have a video that's on the website that I want to make sure people know they can go watch if we don't have time to play it. The one with... Senator Kennedy. I don't know if it's Senator or Congressman.
That was it. So if you get the phones ready, I'm going to go over to chat. Yeah. I'm going to play this, and I believe we can because C-SPAN. Check this out.
We should play it. It's awesome.
This is Senator John Kennedy grilling the acting DHS chief, Chad Wolf, on his response to CV. He's basically handing him his own ass and saying, you don't know anything about this. So let me unmute this. Boom, boom. Let's see.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Secretary, for being here. How many cases of coronavirus do we have right now in the United States?
Well, we have 14 cases plus an additional I believe it's 20 or 30 some odd cases that we have repatriated back into the U.S. from a number of cruise ships.
And how many are you anticipating?
Again, we're working with HHS to determine that.
How many are you anticipating?
We do anticipate the number will grow. I don't have an exact figure for you, though.
Do you have an estimate? Is someone modeling that? Do you have any way of guessing?
Again, HHS, through their medical professionals,
well, yes, sir, but you're head of Homeland Security,
yes, sir,
and your job is to keep us safe.
Yes, sir.
Do you know today how many the experts are predicting?
We only know that, again, we anticipate those numbers to grow in the U.S. That's why we're making sure that our operations, again, at our airports, land ports, and elsewhere are flexible.
But you can't tell us how many your models are anticipating.
No, Senator. Again, I would defer you to the Health and Human Services for that.
Okay.
CDC.
Don't you think you ought to check on that?
We will.
As the head of Homeland Security?
Absolutely. And again, we have task force members that are working this on every day.
I'm all for committees and task force.
So we're coordinating with them to make sure that our operations.
You're the secretary. I think you ought to know that answer.
I understand that.
How is the coronavirus transmitted?
Through a variety of ways. Obviously, human to human, we've seen that. And again, we're making sure that those procedures, as they come into the U.S., are medically screened so that we can identify those
How
folks.
is it transmitted?
A variety of different ways, Senator.
Tell me what they are, please.
Again, human to human is what we've primarily seen.
Human to human, how?
Being in the same vicinity. Physical contact is usually what we've seen from the medical cases that we've seen here in the U.S. We've had several, I think 2 to 3 human-to-human cases that have showed up here in the U.S. So it's those that are closest to those individuals that have that human contact.
It's in the air. Is what he's looking for.
What's the mortality rate so far, nationwide?
I believe it's
worldwide.
Worldwide, I believe it's under 2%.
How much under 2%?
I'll get you an exact figure. I'll check with CDC on their monitoring the worldwide mortality rate, and I can get that for you.
But you don't know the mortality rate today.
It changes daily, Senator.
Well, I understand that. What's the average since we discovered the virus?
Again, it's under 2%. It was as high as 3%. Numbers were recalculated based on reporting from China.
Is it between 1.5 and 2?
It's between 1.5 and 2%.
Okay, what's the mortality rate for influenza over the last, say, 10 years in America?
It's also right around that percentage as well. I don't have that offhand, but it's right around 2% as well.
You sure of that?
It's a little bit, yes, sir.
Okay. Do we have enough respirators?
To my knowledge, we do. I'm focused on making sure that our operators at DHS make sure that they have the protective equipment. I know HHS
will be protected.
As part of the supplemental.
We just heard testimony that we don't.
Testimony from?
In a briefing.
Okay.
So you're head of Homeland Security.
For medical professionals or for sorry, I don't understand the question.
You're head of Homeland Security. Do we have enough respirators or not?
For patients, I don't understand the question.
For everybody, every American who needs one who gets the disease.
Again, I would refer you to HHS on that.
Mr. Secretary,
my budget supports.
You're supposed to keep us safe.
My budget supports the men and women of the Department of Homeland Security.
You're the Secretary of Homeland Security.
Yes, sir.
And you can't tell me if we have enough respirators.
What I would tell you is that the budget, my budget, our operations are focused not only on the men and women of DHS, making sure they're protected to do their jobs, to screen individuals coming in. We're working with HHS, CDC, and their budgets to ensure that they have enough medical equipment.
Do we have enough face masks?
We, for the Department of Homeland Security, we do.
I'm not asking for the Department of Homeland Security. I'm asking for the American people.
For the entire American public?
Yes.
No, I would say probably not.
Okay, how short are we?
I don't have that number offhand, Senator. I will get that for you.
Oh, Chad. It's always a Chad, isn't it? It's always a Chad.
But if you asked him if he had enough rounds of 9mm, he would say yes.
But he's got what is it? Billions of rounds for the department. I'm sure he could tell you how many people he has there. Now, as far as, do you think that the DHS, the secretary, should know all of those answers? I do. Personally, I think he did his best to go around the questions. Some could say that
human to human, that was his answer, human to human. I mean, come on, that was absurd.
It's transmitted through the air.
Well, yeah, but even so, the question isn't even, the answer is not human to human. It's like, how does it transmit? Is it saliva? Is it airborne? Is it, is it touch? Is it, like, it was ridiculous.
It's all of the above.
I can't believe he's in that role and he doesn't have a clue what's going on. If that is how prepared we are, we're screwed. Hopefully there's more people that have a head on their shoulders.
There's also the other point, though. He could have been told not to say any of those answers to panic people. You know what I mean? He of course knows. I think he knows. Why would he not know that? If he doesn't know, then we're screwed.
Refused to answer.
Then we're screwed.
He looked like an idiot.
Do we have 376 million respirators? That's an easy question that's one that he should have known the second day. He should know that in general. If it's Homeland Security, think about it. There's chemical threats from other countries. That's something that they've probably drilled for a million times. You have to understand, it's not like he shouldn't know that. It is his position to know all of that. So, just saying. All right, and then let's see here. What do you guys think? Oh, plus there's absolutely hundreds of videos now on our website on the different videos. You can go into every you can absolutely go into every one of our shows, and down below, we've been following this, been showing you all the tweet videos, all of the leaked videos, again, right there, so you can access it. So you can actually watch in your own time and essentially go through that. I'm going to go to the chat, and I'm going to say what's up. Let's see here. Looks like we have nearly 4,000 people watching. Thank you guys for joining. We've got Moonphase 5, Chorissa. Thank you guys. Let's see here. Darlene Awake, thank you for the donation. Mindy Patriot Angel, thank you. Whitney 1099, thank you. Snafu Snaps, what's going on, brother? Phil Billy from YouTube, what's going on? My one of my mods, CJ Blaze 777, Ozband, Shoe 91, Patty 1970, Megan's blog is in here. We've got Danny Massey. By the way, Megan's in lockdown. I'm sure you've been talking about that in the chat. Megan came on our show and talked about what lockdown was like, and that stream was cut from my internet. I've never had an issue. It wasn't, people said, oh, D-Live cut. No, D-Live, I've never had an issue with D-Live. In fact, that was above D-Live. That was above everything. It cut my Zoom. It cut everything. It cut from my internet. And I don't even think Megan believes me on that one. That one was from up above. She just started talking about Disney and how she just came from Disney World. Is really weird. And then it cut. And then now look, today's story on Disney. Vera Power, thank you guys. Vera Power, thank you for following. I appreciate that. Solar Power, thank you so much for the lemons. And then Phoenix Edge Studios, Snapper 8. Miss Jackson, thank you for being a part of the Mafia. I see a lot of purple badges in here. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Devil's Peak. I don't know if I'm logged in, but I wanted to gift you a sub. Welcome, guys. MOF Farmer, M.O. Farmer, Paula 1959, Equine Prepper, Jack G. For YouTube, we are more than halfway through. By the way, we're never going to quit. We're not going to stop the D-Live. We're going to actually have a community over here. What we're going to do is we're going to utilize this how we want it. Basically, this is a great, great service for especially communities that already kind of established. I want to help smaller creators get their message across too. I'm bringing over a bunch of the creators from a creators group. I want to help host people. I want to help basically make the Marfoogle News chat room kind of a 24-hour thing over here. Again, what's cool about the chat over here is you can actually sit in the room when we're offline. Every time I look, there's anywhere from 200 to 400 people sitting in our offline chat. That's pretty awesome. So you can use this as kind of a chat room when we're not on. But then again, I could be hosting these Marfoogles. I know that there's Marfoogles out there that have started channels over here and want to be hosted. We're still figuring out the system to do that. Trust me, we will get to all of you. I need a Marf badge, says Rick for W. Maine for Marf says, confirmed case, American soldier now infected. That doesn't surprise me at all. W West says, what's up, Dex J? Make sure to say what's up back.
Hey, what's up?
Ocean T Bear, love it. We got a lot of bears. Owen Benjamin. I actually popped into Owen Benjamin and I dropped a couple Ninja Guineas to try to get his attention. I wanted to get an interview with him. That would be awesome. Provoked Patriot, Jumpmaster, Lemononsta, Jersey Mike keeps digging, Red 1967. Ace in your face says buffering. If you ever have buffering, make sure to exit out of the app and then come back in. That always helps me personally. Sometimes it's above that though. Sim7, what is going on? Haven't seen you in forever. I know every name in here almost, unless you changed stuff. Fabo Senior, what's going on? Surprised you don't have a badge. Snafu Staff, Miss Jackson, Tutlight. Thank you guys. Okay. Maria C says, my 3-year-old is a crybaby. And Jax G says, shout me out. All right. Pole Shift, Barnes fam. I know all of you guys, so thank you for coming. I really appreciate you all coming right now. First up, we have Rip Curl. This is going to be a great call. Rip Curl has some information. This was not, I don't believe this one was random, because this one I believe we need to talk to. There's a lot of information going on right now as we speak. So let's see. I'm glad he was able to call in. Boom. Okay, make sure to turn that off. All right, Rip Curl, you are live on Marfoogle News. What is going on?
Hey, Adam, how you doing? Is that on my end or your end?
Let me see. Hold on. Is there a clicking?
Well, I thought I just heard rust. No, it was rustling around. It might have been just brushing up against your mic or something. Hey, how's it going? Hey, I just wanted to say hello to everybody and tell them, hey, this isn't, again, about fear right now. I want to make sure that that's really clear because this is real time actually right now. We got to take this seriously. There are going to be doubters out there, and this isn't the time anymore. And I say that from a proof position as well. This is the time to take this seriously. Just like the people, Dutch Sense went on today, and people were just giving him. Some people still just, think it's a joke. And what he said is the people who think that at this point are dangerous, and they're actually the ones that we have to worry about. And what he tells them is you go ahead and doubt me, but doubt me from over there. I don't want you near me because you could be infected. And that's about how seriously we got to start thinking about this. If the CDC finally has gotten with the game, then this is a serious thing. And as we know, and you reported, they came out with a report today saying, they're talking about provisions to close schools, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to, what I called in about was the video, of course, that Dex sent you. Do you have that?
Yes, I'm going to pull it up here in a sec. One thing I also want to say about this whole thing is exactly. So did you, I don't know if you saw the show the other night, but I was talking about how the truthness, especially the people that, because honestly, I never said I was a truther. I never said I was, sea theorist. I never said any of that. People labeled me as a truther, and I have no problem them saying I am. I'm not offended by that. But again, the other people that have been labeled truther, they have such a problem believing, or there's so many arguments because I guess some of the better truthers are ones that are just saying, absolutely. They're the ones that say, I believe this and this is what I believe. And the reason why they're successful is because other people that believe that exact same thing flock to somebody who's confident and says, this is what I believe, this is it, and whatever. That's kind of how anything works, right? But the thing is right. So many are so trained and so lied to that even the strongest of truthers, they can't see it when it's real. I mean, they just want to say everything is a complete, FF, and they want to say it's all false and this and that. And It's all a distraction. You can't say every last thing is a distraction. At this point, it is worldwide. At this point, people in our Foogle family, people who actually watch me, are losing people to this in other countries. People are dying in the fam, and you can't deny that. And it takes, some of these people have to see it literally with their own eyes. They would wait until literally 49 states around them were all gone and rubble. They would have to see their neighbor basically burn down for them to say, oh, okay, there's a fire. It's like people will not believe it because we've been lied to so much.
And I understand that. I get the reason why they think that, because there's been so many times, like you say, it's one. Well, just like you say, they cause and create something, and then that causes a fear, and then they come in with the solution, and then we, of course, we demand it, and then we just say yes, okay. But this, I mean, that's not what we've been doing. We have been actually saying, listen, we just need to prepare for anything, and this world does need to get back to that, because if we were all back to where we were more self-sufficient, it would actually solve some of the power issues that they have over us. Because if we don't need the things they try to make us think we need, they don't have any real power over us, and they start to lose it. You're able to say, well, I don't need that. I take care of it myself. I don't need this. I take care of it myself. So you're actually in a better position. So you're exactly right. It isn't about fear. It's just about being in a better position to handle anything. It's something that we've lost because everything's been done for us. And these days, you're hearing it from them alone. That clip you just played right there, he's drilling the guy that's supposed to know, just like Dex said, how many masks do we have? How lethal is this? And he can't answer. You know why? Because he knows the answer is we don't have enough, and it's deadly. And that's the real truth. But he doesn't want to say it because they want to be able to be in the position to have the power for it. And that's why I say when people are going out there and looking, I called in, I think last week or something like that, I managed to get through. And I'm glad I got through today, because then I was talking about the fact that our shelves were, well, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. But, I was watching our stocks and so forth like that. And what I'll tell people right now is if you go in and you see an aisle and it's empty for some reason, that's when you need to stop and ask yourself why, and whatever's left, get yourself one.
No, I agree with you.
Reason.
Look at what's going on with every other country that this has happened to, and they say it's only a matter of time. So even if they believe it's a complete distraction and it's going to come to your city and your shelves are going to be empty. So regardless, what are you going to do? Are you going to get some food now? Or are you going to wait until the shelves are empty and then you're going to say, gosh, I really wish I would have stocked up on this crap? It's just like, why are people so adamant about not preparing? It's just crazy to me. It really does make me wonder.
Either. Well, and here's the thing: we're in a good position. We're lucky the fact that these things are being leaked out of other countries, and we're being able to see the empty shelves in other countries ahead of time. We should look at that and go, "Oh, that's what it's going to be." So we better get on it, because it's happening everywhere else. What makes us so arrogant to say it's not going to happen here?
Because nobody ever thinks it's going to happen here. That's why you see every accident, every shooting. Right? Oh, how could it happen here in our little neighborhood? I just can't believe it happened here in our neighborhood. It always happens in your neighborhood, and it always will. It's going to happen when you don't think it's going to happen. It's Murphy's Law. It's happened in every other part of your life. It's going to happen with this virus, and all of a sudden you're going to know your brother is sick in the hospital, and that's when you're finally going to believe it. And you go, gosh, I'm such an idiot. It's just like,
Well, and here's proof of that even on your show here, because, as people know that I do a lot of research and so forth like that, and there's some things I'm going to be doing actually tomorrow that the people should really keep in touch the next time I'm on, because I'm going to be going and interviewing school teachers. I'm going to our school and asking them if they've heard from the CDC, just like they said, and how they intend upon dealing with it. Will they close the schools? What are their procedures that they're going to be implementing? And I'm going to go to the local CDC as well, and I'm going to go I mean, all the things they mentioned there, I'm going to go and see if I can get people on record. Fortunately in Oregon, it's only a one notification state, but when you're recording. However, I'm still going to do it the right way and ask them about it.
Well, so Rip Curl, let me play your video in Lowe's.
Yeah.
And no, I understand. Yeah. He's not doing this for you've never done your things for channel. You actually do it for the group. You do it for the people. I know you have a channel, but you don't even do videos, right? I mean,
I don't. I'm trying to learn how to get the videos out there. I tried the other day.
So he does all this just for us. He just does it for the research and for the Foogle family. So hold on, I'm going to show your video here.
So,
okay,
how long are you thinking?
Probably maybe 2 or 3. Depends on how bad it gets over there. I mean, if it shuts it down completely over there, because they're made over there. Most of our stuff, the masks are actually made over in China.
Huh.
So if it completely shuts it down, like some people are thinking it might, then that'll be that.
So the ones that you tried to order from your warehouse that they said you couldn't have and went and shipped to California, right? They won't ship you any?
Yeah, because our warehouses are pretty much depleted at this point.
Oh, and so the warehouses are even depleted from them shipping them to either California or places that have them.
Mm-hmm.
And the orders you're not going to get at your warehouses are because you're going to wait 3 months or so, you're thinking?
Yeah, I mean, if they find a way to halt the progression, they might open up again soon.
But until things get calmed down, your warehouse isn't going to get any from manufacturing, is what you're saying?
Pretty much, yeah.
That blows. Well, I better hang on to what I have then.
Yeah.
I even bought Tyvek suits from here that you guys have. I mean, it's not necessarily a panic thing, it's just being a smart thing.
Yeah.
I think. I mean...
Oh, man. I don't know if that was the music in the store, but that's probably going to get us flagged. That is huge. That was an exclusive. You heard it here first.
I'd be having...
That was from Rip Curl, longtime mod. He just went in, and that Lowe's employee said that they are completely out. They are not coming in with more. That whatever's left, it was going to other places. They're shutting down factories that are making them. What the F? That's crazy, Rip Curl.
And what I got from that, too, is, and there's a little bit more to take from that, and I'm glad it came through well. I'm glad you were able to get that from it, is the fact that, and I tried to record him twice, but the first time, of course, I'm technically illiterate, so my button didn't start, but I was able to record him again. And basically just to clarify, what he was saying is when he says it depends on when they stop it, he's talking about in China, because what he said this is at least Lowe's. And from what I've found, that it's a lot of the other stores have had the same procedures going on. And it's whatever they have in their distribution warehouses that they own, they're not going to be sending them to their stores that don't need them. And that's been dictated to them by somebody else. They've been told that what they own, like what are in the stores right now, like if you go there right now, if you hunt and search, you might find ones here and there. Some stores have some, but they won't be able to get any more because their distribution centers have been told to send them to California first, and then some of the other areas where there's been outbreaks. And after that, that's what I was asking him is, and I said, so they won't send you any? And he says, no, they're only allowed to send them there. That's what they've been told. And I said, well, what about where they're made? And when will your distribution center get more? That's why I was saying about the 3 months. And he goes, well, that depends if they stop progression. And what he's saying is that most of the masks before this happened were made in China. We have some factories here, and now some diaper factories have started up making them, but they're way behind. There's not enough. And what he said about those is they won't even be able to buy those. Those are all going either to the hot zones or straight to China to help them over there. And they're not, and no masks are coming from China, period. They're staying over there on that side of the ocean. And that's what really struck me. And so what that means is if you see it in the shelves, get it, because that's all there's going to be for a while.
that's a big deal. So we're probably gonna even take that and put it on main channel, just because people need to know. You need to get masks now, especially if your local store has them. Get them before this situation occurs. Luckily, you know, like yourself, I went out and got them multiple, and I got some for family members, and it wasn't cheap too. It sucked. I mean, when you're grabbing 6-7 masks, it can be up in the $100, $200, $300 range, even the simple ones, because they're, you know, range anywhere from $15 to $35 for the simple ones. So I'm glad you took this video. I'm glad that you got that. This is something that almost Lowe's will be like, whoa. So I wouldn't say what store it's in, but this is kind of a big deal.
No.
Well, thank you so much,
well,
Rip Curl.
And I just wanted to say, people, one, thank you for letting me do this for you. I'm always here for you guys. If you ever have any questions to ask, I'm here for the family. And if you're out there and you see respirators, those will work too, because the filters themselves are P100s or better. So you can use painting respirators, concrete section. Look in your concrete section. Look in the lumber section. They spread them out throughout the store, and they're doing that on purpose. And also, something to think about is the first transmission that was caught, the medical workers in China got infected because they weren't wearing eye protection. Get yourself if you want to look cool, pay $18 for a cool set of safety glasses that have the foam seals in it. If you don't mind looking dorky, go ahead and get yourself the kind we wore in high school when we were dissecting frogs. I mean, they're $3. And then the other thing to think about is, for $17, you can go to the painting section, and that's the Tyvek suit that's the best one. But you can get yourself a Tyvek suit that will protect you. It has a hood and booties, and then with your mask and eyewear. And this is if you're in a hot zone. I'm not saying freak out if you're not, but it wouldn't hurt to have this in case this is going to spread, because that will protect you from particulates. And even when I was in the hospital, until they discerned that I didn't have MRSA, they were gowning up every time they came in, eyes, masks, and suits. And that's the way you should be thinking about it with this virus, because I'm afraid with what they found out about this TV is the fact that now we know that it's asymptomatic even after you've recovered, which makes me wonder if this is almost something like a Hep C or a Giardia or any kind of bug that you've gotten that once you get over it, you're over it, but it stays in your body and you have the ability to infect others with it, and yet it won't make you sick until you get run down again or get immune compromised from getting the flu or something like that, and then it springs back up. Similar to chickenpox, except you can't really give chickenpox to somebody else again once you're cured, but you can get shingles later on in life because it's sitting dormant in your body.
Rip, we got to be fair to all the callers. Rip, we're going on 15 minutes. But we can have you call in again. I appreciate you going out of your way for this. Rip, you can get on anytime you want because you're part of the team. So I just want to be fair. There's people that have been on there for now an hour and 15 minutes. So thank you so much for calling in, Rip. I appreciate you, and I will talk to you later. Love to see the video of the teachers, okay?
All right, I'll send it.
All right, thank you so much. Let's see here. I want to make sure that we get these guys on here. It looks like the back end caller just dropped. Probably couldn't wait there. Hold on. You are live on Marfoogle TV. Samson.
Adam, what's up, brother? How are you, man? Finally got through.
How are you doing, Samson? Okay, so let's see here. You are calling about let's see here. You've got CV crazy checkpoint video. So you actually got a video of this.
Dude, this is gonna floor you guys, and I couldn't have done this without Snafu Snap's advice. I'm a new YouTuber. I really kind of don't know what the heck I'm doing, but I got lots of love to share and lots of prayers for everybody. And I'd like to give a quick shout out to Snafu Snaps, man. He's so much help. He's willing to help anybody, and he's just young. Guys, you and Dex, man, you guys have done such an amazing job covering this. And
now,
I'm so grateful.
Hold on, Samson. Is this your channel? And this is your video?
Yes.
This is your video?
Yes. No, my brother-in-law sent this to me from Venezuela. He's the brother to my second wife. And we still talk, and he's a great guy, man. He's awesome. His name is Alejandro Montero.
But this is a personal video. This is actually from somebody that you know.
I called him and asked him after I realized what I had and got off the phone with Snafu. He said, dude, you got to call him back, figure out where this came from. He wanted to tell me the guy's name, but he said the guy wanted to be anonymous because he's afraid, I guess. I don't know. And some people are saying this is real. Some people are saying, no, I see this and I see that. But I've watched it probably 20 times, and I'm telling you, it looks – I don't believe it's real. There's spike strips out that stop the car, but he almost hits a lady that's trying to cross the street. It'll speak for itself.
Okay, so I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it. Where is this?
This is, I believe, in China.
Okay. What? Whoa. Yeah, this is... Okay, so I want to clarify. We're going to link this video. This is Samson's channel. This looks like it could be a drill. I don't know. The only reason I say that is because of how he took his hat off before he got... and he waited for the truck to pull up in front. So I...
What you don't see, you keep watching, when it gets towards the end, you can see the spike strips laid out. And he almost hit the lady when he went by her. I've watched this so many times just trying to verify.
Yeah, so this you got to be careful with. Yeah, so let's see. There's the strips there. Let's see.
And when he pulls up, when he first takes off to go, he literally stops because he's going to run over a lady. She barely gets out of the way. He might even bump her.
Let's see.
I mean, I've taken this thing apart, and even, I don't know. I don't want to say this is 100% real, but it's just amazing.
Well, I know it's real. I just don't know if it's a drill or not.
Even if it is, look what they're training for, dude.
I know. Oh no. I can see. So there's no spike strips right here.
Right.
I just wonder why he stopped. So you're saying that there was a woman there.
Watch. Yeah, watch. Just to the right of the screen. Just to the right of the screen, you'll see the lady. She barely hops and skips over kind of the corner of the hood, the bumper there. I mean, I picked this thing apart, brother. The spike strips, and when they come back, I mean, it's just wild, dude. I'm sure they weren't expecting, if this is real, something like that. So it might be they're aware and they're
takes off his mask.
And it's just.
Why did he take off his mask? It's just, yeah, it's weird. Anyways, this is kind of, yeah, it's weird all around. And so, yeah, no, I could see why they're drilling to do that, or that's real. Even if it's either way, right. I believe it in China. I do. But imagine that here. I wonder what is going to happen here. What is going to happen here? That's my big question. What is going to happen here when this gets bigger, when this has it? We're going to have, and that checkpoint looks like a border almost. They couldn't have put that whole thing up. Right. I don't know. But Samson, thanks for sharing that video.
What really got me, Mark, was when he takes off his mask and he spits and he kind of wobbles a little bit. They're not. I mean, I'm kind of leaning towards real, and I've gone over this thing 20 times, man, and I just want to stress to everybody, please take this seriously, man.
That was weird. He took off his mask and then he kind of went. He kind of lost his balance.
He spits as soon as he takes his mask off. He spits, and that scares him off. And then that's when they come in with the riot gear type stuff, man. And also at the very end, you see them spraying down the next crew to be prepared. They know they're going to have to really be more secure, more vigilant at their jobs. I think that surprised them. I've stopped and looked at their faces, at what's happening. I've picked apart, Snap Through Snaps is really another shout out, man. He's just amazing. When he saw this, he's like, I told him, I said, you can take it to Marf, I just want people to see it. And he's like, no, Samson, because I'm trying to get into Creators Corner. In this last week, I've got 45 new subs, and I've only just started this. I don't know. Hey, Ollie, how long have I been doing YouTube now? That's my roommate. I guess since I've been here, so less than a month, like 2 weeks, I think. I don't have a lot of vids up. I got 33 up, Bo. I've really been busting at it hard. But the biggest thing is I'd love to say a prayer for all of our fam, the crew, and my fam families, what I call them, following me. Can I go ahead and do that? Is that cool?
Of course. Go ahead.
Lord, I ask you now to surround the family, the crew, and the folks that are watching all of our channels, everyone in this chat room and everyone around the world. I ask you to put us in the triple capsule of Christ's white light of protection. And for this, I give you thanks. Thank you so much, Adam. That was so important for me to get out.
Amen, Samson. Well, thank you for calling in, and thank you for sharing that video. We'll do some research of I've never seen it before, and I've been on Twitter. Dex has been on Twitter. Doesn't look like Dex has seen it either, so we'll check it out. Samson, thank you for calling in. We're going to get to the next call.
And like I said, Snap Through Snaps, thank you so much for helping me out. I'm sure he's on there listening. And a big shout out to, just all your mods, man. I love them all to death. They're so cool. And if you guys will come and check out my channel, I promise I'll keep new stuff up all the time, and I can't wait to meet you guys.
Well, in true Love Mob fashion, everybody knows you can go to any of the channels featured here tonight over on the website. You can go to Samson's channel. Samson, my one piece of advice is to change your channel name, because that's going to be extremely hard. It's Samson by MF Polar Ran Stuff Jamer Samson. Again, you can get the link from our website. It will go directly to his channel. But he's been hustling 33 videos so he could get into our Creators Corner, which, of course, we asked 20 videos minimum and 100 subs. But again, if you're putting hustle in, we will let you in. All right, you are live on Marfoogle TV. What is going on?
Hi, this is I was calling in because a couple of crazy things that I've come across in trying to find information about the virus to get some actual true information. I live in the Atlanta area and was kind of concerned because wondering what the CDC's role was going to be, and particularly with relation to quarantine locations. And since I live right near one, I'm a little concerned. We're kind of in a financial bind and not able to avoid working. So found some information today online that was very alarming, because the more I kept trying to find, there seems to be a lot of hype out there about CDC is faking some numbers. Like, a lot of this information is overhyped and it's not real, downplaying the seriousness of everything. And I just wondered if you had heard anything about some information from a Dr. James Ross in the LA area, who put the numbers that have been coming out, even just with the numbers that have been reported from the CDC, allegedly he has put these numbers in several times through a neural net to be able to produce some accurate statistics regarding potential
the virus
projections. And yes, sir.
So as far as this would not be the episode I would say that on. We would probably say that for in the next couple days when we do the CDC, or I'm sorry, the CV alert, because we've got stuff that will, literally blow your socks off. We of course we've been hitting the topic a couple hours in. This video, like all others, will be basically yellow. It's just, ever since the CV thing started, every video is yellow, and it's pretty crazy. But again, we want to keep the channel. So I will say this on a DLive only thing. I will just say I kind of agree. That's what I will go for on this one. As far as the numbers being minimized. I know this because I'm going to show you guys some stuff that's pretty nuts. And again, there's memos going out. There's military. I mean, this is just nuts. Naval Base Kitsap, Washington. That I'm going to actually try to get to. That is one of the 11 bases on this list. Of course, it says the Department of Defense has released a statement about this new program where these 11 bases are specifically part of. Now, what state are you in again? I'm sorry. You're in
Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes, I'm in the Metro Atlanta area. We're only about 15 minutes from Dobbins Air Force Base.
Yeah. So somebody like you, I would love for anybody there, especially the folks that I actually get to talk to in person, go out and take videos of what's going on. See if you can find out anything. See if you can report on scene. Now, I'm not saying you go do anything crazy, but say go to your local stores. See if you can see if we have your local stores emptying out and things like this happening. As far as what's going on right now, I think it's time that we all instead of listening to somebody else send out their fake reporters, let's be the reporters. Anybody who's watching, if you're in a state, go see what's going on, be a voice, start a YouTube channel, start a DLive, and get a video on there and stream what you're seeing. Because I think something way bigger is going on.
I agree. I've seen, there's been a little, I don't know if it's just me or if it's something else, but.
Go ahead. You just kind of stopped there.
Oh, sorry. I kind of lost you there. I don't know if I don't know what's going on, but I have seen some of the odd kind of, the type of helicopters you was talking about earlier, been flying over pretty regularly. And I'm pretty familiar with everything that flies over. I'm kind of a UFO guy too, and like to keep my eyes up to the sky. As an odd side note, I captured a UFO right as I was trying to capture one of those things, and ended up getting a UFO just by accident. I don't know if that's any possibly related in some bizarre way, but yeah, I've been seeing an increase in the traffic overhead.
Well, take videos of it, get your camera out, and if you double tap the power button on most Androids and even I believe on Apples, you can go get video of it real quick. Well, thank you for calling in, Kevin.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep it moving, but I appreciate your call. And if it's your first time call, I hope it's not your last. Please call in again and let us know.
Nope, it was
if you
my
take
first.
video, you can actually then send us the video and we can show it here just like we did with Rip Curls and any other video that you might take. Plus, we will show your channel. That's another good reason to start one and get things going. Well, thank you so much, Kevin.
Thank you.
Have a good night. That always reminds me of the Kevin Fugel fam. Kevin, the Fugel fam is awesome guy. He's usually in chat. Lena, you are live on Marfoogle News.
I miss you, Adam.
AKA LCJC. What's going on, LC?
Hey, well, I saw an amazing video last week, but before you look at that, I wanted to give people a suggestion on the face masks. I live in the middle of nowhere, and just over a week ago, I thought, well, I can't get any online. They canceled my order just like everybody else's on Amazon. So I went to my local hardware store, which is a little pea-ball nothing of a store, and I got 4 cases. So 4 boxes of 20 in a box.
And where was this at again?
I live in the middle of nowhere, and so the closest little small town is where I went, which I'm not going to give the name. But what my suggestion to everybody is go for a drive. Get your little honey and go for a drive. Go to these little backwoods, little places. They all got little hardware stores. And I bet you find you some masks.
Now,
Just a suggestion on the map.
Oh, no. But here's the thing. In the bigger cities, the little ma and pa, I would definitely suggest this, especially for the smaller places. If you look at the bigger places, the Lowe's, Home Depot, those are the only places you can go. The ma and pa shops are closed in most cases because those big guys or Amazon took them out of business. Now, if you heard what she just said she ordered just like everybody else on Amazon, and they canceled their orders. Even if you think you got them, check your order, because almost all of them are getting refunded because there is no masks. And some of the masks, Hubei was a huge producer of these masks. So you're not going to get a mask from the source of the virus itself because those are the places that are shut down. It's crazy.
Yeah, I heard the government was buying them all out.
I think it's absolutely nuts. So what is this video of? This is looking pretty nuts. It looks like a fire almost.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I went to the dentist, and on my way home, I seen this thing, and I'm like, what in the heck is that? Now, out here, I see a lot of crazy stuff, and I went, oh, my goodness, and I had to video it, and it just so happened that day I found Christopher's cell phone, because we have no cell phones. We're not connected or anything like that, but in my truck I have Wi-Fi, so I got it so Jeremy can play his little video games. I snagged that phone from him. I pulled over. The closest place I could pull over, I had to drive a few miles, which is why it's dissipated before I can get to it. But I pulled over and I videotaped it, and you can hear me. Now, I videotaped that. Now, if you go to where it shows the actual burst, you can see a round ball, and I believe that's the asteroid. Watch as it goes. And you can see the asteroid right on the bottom part of it. See the round ball up there on the bottom of it? I believe that's what the asteroid is. Then, if you continue to let the video run, my son, I'm just staring at this thing, and I'm driving home, and I'm just like in awe. I don't even hear him talking. I don't know what he's doing. I think he's just talking to himself or whatever. He's actually videotaping 5 other streaks in the sky alongside it to the right, and he's videotaping them. They're going along with it. Now, we didn't get the burst from them, but you can see those streaks clearly.
Well, so I'm actually like I'm looking at all of this is originating from this pink huge ball of smoke type of thing, and then you're saying the white stripe above it is actually a meteor?
It's traveling.
It's moving.
It's traveling. Yeah, I would have gotten a longer tail had I pulled over, but there was nowhere to pull over, so I had to keep driving until I found a spot to pull over, and now it's in front of us. But if you keep watching, you'll actually see it overhead. My son captures it as I'm driving. If you let the video go, and my son actually captures it.
Why does he keep turning around? Is he turning around to show that the clouds go all the way back over?
No, he's showing you the 5 other streaks in the sky that are following with it. There are 4 or 5 other.
What in the world? This looks nuts.
Streaks just like it. Yeah. If you were seeing it live, this is moving. It's not standing there still. It is moving. And as I'm driving home, I turn left, so I'm going the direction with it. And you can actually see it going in front of us, and you can see that it is traveling. It's not a puff of smoke in the sky or anything. It's traveling.
What in the world? The 5 trails
I know,
could
right?
be the other planets that circle the larger one. Funny. Look at that. What is that? That's nuts looking.
Yeah.
Do you guys see that? It's the pink. Whoa, that is weird.
Yeah. See, my son caught streaks over to the right, and they're not streaks, they're actually, entities. He caught them, and he's the one that's talking about, look at mommy, the other planets are following. I'm like, I saw that afterwards when I was uploading it, and I didn't even realize my son was talking and filming while I'm driving. He did that filming. I did the pulled over and filmed, but I kept driving, and he took the phone. I thought he was playing games and talking, so I was ignoring him. I tuned out of him, and he was actually still filming and talking. I'm making a little YouTuber here. Yeah.
Wow.
In front of me?
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
Yeah.
The weird part is how it all originates at that, and then you see it. I mean, it just looks out of this world. It literally looks like Superman crashed in the field or something.
Yeah.
That is so
Yeah.
weird.
It's pretty crazy. It freaked me out.
I almost want to mess with this
freaked me
video.
out.
I think somebody should almost mess with this video and do negative colors and see if they see anything. Oh man, that's crazy.
Well, in the beginning, you do. In the beginning, you do see the small ball at the bottom, and I believe that's the asteroid that's pulling it. If you go back to the beginning, you see a small ball at the bottom of that fire cloud.
Weird. Now that I look at it a second time, you can see this line that goes and it goes all the way down to the bottom of this. Okay, watch as it goes, and then boom, it's like it literally. What in the world? And then there's a second white thing that's getting bigger and bigger as it goes too. Well, LCJC family, thank you for calling in, and then also, we would just need to talk off air too. I would love to talk to you, and I know that you've been super busy and you got kid stuff and all sorts of stuff going on. We've got plenty of just everybody. Everybody needs prayer. We've got plenty of all of our mods have different things going on in our world. So thank you so much for calling in, Elsie. I appreciate you, and you've been here since the beginning, so thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, and I miss y'all, and y'all start, if you're not prepping, y'all better be prepping, because stuff's getting crazy. It's not just the virusing that's going on, real videotape or fake. This stuff is happening. It doesn't matter. There's a lot of craziness happening right now, so people...
It's like everything at the same time.
Yeah, we don't know what it is. We just know it's something. It could be A, B, C, or D, but you should have food and water for your families. And, if it's not one thing, it's going to be something else.
Or D, all of the above.
All the above. Yeah. All right. Love you, Frugal family. Love you, Adam. Take care. Hugs to the wife.
All right.
Dex, love you guys.
Love you too. All right. You have a good night. Bye-bye. All right. Absolutely crazy. Just absolutely nuts. That is weird looking. Okay. Now again, this video, her channel, everything's going to be available on the website. Elsie, I would say to you too, if you do the Marfoogle TV, I would do it in a tag and tag Marfoogle TV, and then do another tag that says Marfoogle News, and then tag LCJC family in the blue. How you do that is do a tag at the bottom of your very description, and you have to go hashtag Marfoogle TV, hashtag news. It works better too. And then if you put it in the title, do LCJC family, tell us nothing is coming, and then do a line or do something else, and then put Marfoogle TV. Then it gets found. I need you guys to do that too, so then the positive videos are found too, instead of the negative ones. Thank you again. I appreciate you doing that. All right, so let's see here. Boom. Man, we got some nuts stuff going on every day, but this is obviously this is some real stuff. So I hope everybody's paying attention. Dex, are you still there?
Hey, Adam, I'm here. And wow, that video from Samson and the video from LCJC and even from Rip Curl, all amazing.
All three. We have got three videos on news right now. Like that is
and
nuts.
that one where the car stops. I mean, if it's a drill, it's a drill. It's fine. No matter what, it's still fascinating to see what they're drilling for. But that car actually stops because you can see for a split second they throw the spikes out in front of it right as it stops.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
God, I don't know what is. It looks like my eyes are yellowing. I'm don't know.
So real quick, Adam, I do have an update. The U.S. soldier stationed in SK, South Korea, tested positive for CV. I think somebody said that in a comment. So I just wanted people to know he's the first one self-quarantined at his residence off base, the military said today.
So U.S. soldier
in South Korea, which would make sense since there's a massive outbreak going on there.
Yep.
And he is being self-quarantined in his residence, which is off base. Obviously, he lives off base there. He's 23-year-old, and he's based near Da Nang or Daegu.
I am praying for that U.S. soldier. He's sacrificed for he was currently sacrificing for his country, and now he's got the virus. So I'm praying for him to get better. Dex.
Well, we've just arrived in.
Let's see here. Don't want that to be playing. That's no good. So we will end up seeing what is going on with all of this. We're going to continue to follow all of these stories. Again, MarfoogleNews.com has so much crazy stuff right now that you honestly need to make sure that you're doing that. I was just trying to see here. Absolutely nuts. Everything that's going on. Yeah. Dax, I just can't even say how much crazy stuff is going on right now.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it is nuts. Well, lots of information there. We'll try to keep updates on the CV tab that's at the top of our page. We'll be doing updates there along the way, especially the stuff we can't share on this platform.
Again, I'm going to show you guys this. I'm going to shout some people out here. Absolutely nuts. Tedessa, Moonphase 5, Channel Jammer, Snafu Snaps, Kells 4, Elite 1, Rebel Yell, Slingshot 777, BMF Polar Run Stuff. Thank you for calling in again. Vicar DeBerry, thank you. Grego2, Patty 1970, you guys are awesome. Thank you for all of the lemons. In fact, the top contributors tonight, Jimmy Willin. I hope I said that right. Thank you, Jimmy Willin. You've been on the top contributor multiple times this month. Lady GT476. Lady GT476 supporting. That's awesome. And then Pat Leading Fox. By the way, for GT476, thank you. Pat Leading Fox in the lead, in the third position. And then Relentless TV. Thanks, man. Thanks for coming over and actually supporting back. You didn't have to do that. That's awesome. Kelly2334, thank you so much. Thank you very much for coming over here. We've got a fat chest. We're going to add another 500 to that. Wow, that's a big one. So let's see. Remember, don't if you're trying to earn stuff on here, you don't have to, you can always just chat. You don't have to do that. I would hope that some of the people that are supporting us over here are trying to save up their lemons. Let's see here. Because you can actually earn money by coming over to DLive and watching people and chatting. The more you chat, the more that it builds up and the more chance you have at winning the chests. Okay. It looks like the Ugly Jew is on after us. I was looking for some other folks here. And yeah. All right, love you guys. I hope all of you are safe. We're going to be back with some crazy videos. I gave you a teaser. We're going to have some edited videos out. Be safe, be prepared, and now it's time for the shoutro. It's not a shout-out. It's not an outro. It's a shoutro. You've got that much party, y'all. Here they come and they are ready now. It's time for the city open. Gonna bring it, gonna be. If you want to go back, bring back what's gonna be. Got the Spenny 340 in the checker wall. The Naja 9 and that Patty 19-7, yo. Hey, with the Yabba Dabba sexy. Bring it right back. They going down, lecking, just like Mike and Nut Shoot 91 with the Rebel Yell of Rixa up a me. I just know with the robber 157 and a checker what ain't gonna bring. A leak won't gonna go and say big crowds making blocking now. Oh, and then oh. Got that tumbling tea and Robert Murray, LC7, oh. Got the barefoot last and jaw. Farm with everyone and we rock now. We rock now. With the Robert 157, I lit the way I need a man gone. Thank you, Italian girl Anna Beth, Philly Billy from YouTube, Andy Q, Almagalism, Noli, and Stefan Diaz, and Ray Droofer. Ray Droofer. I just like that name. And every time there we walk down, we see the channel jammer. A channel jammer's that lucky, yes. Then you bring it all the way down with the Frank Vic and the D-Array, Brandon Phoenix. A rick's up, I wanna pick her up, but then you got to get your kicks. Oh, with the 93.1, with the Linda Way, and a bet than the rest. You know sunshine and a beat with the Rick 4SS. Jesse Lynn and Patty gonna hang out with homie Joy. We've got Tedessa and Chekawa kicking it down, and now you know that we just do it raw. Hey, Pega Hard and the Sassy on Fire, thanks for coming by, and hey, thanks for hiring me for being your guy for the news, and thanks for hanging out with Main Phase and Two Without, and the City Pat leading Fox. Thanks for giving a yeah, that's right. It's Clemson girl time. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, 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 oh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, 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 yeah. Hey, thank you for stopping by. Stormy weather, moon phase number 5, and the rest. Robert 157 and Foogle fam, Snafu Snaps, and Anna Beth. Thanks for kicking it with me, Southern Mercy, and Equine Prepper, and the Prez. With the VHX and the SoCo Gypsy, thanks for being a really bit Samandoza Tipsy, Seagull Truth, and the Boom, Da Boom with the Conquest Jock. Josh doesn't even matter. Coming right back, and now we pop. Remember, you can go to marfooglenews.com for all of the content in the world. Hey, Mama Lou, Proud Grandma, thank you guys for all coming. Kimmy, 2572, KC09, Earthworm Jim, and DD Big Sig Sour. I love the way that you guys kicking it with me. Conquest Josh, DDD with the triple D, and Snafu Snaps. Snafu Snaps gonna bring it back. Gotta love it just like that. You gotta make that music all the way through. We might not bring it back, but we might not be here long. So we might as well go up and have us some fun. Oh. All right, you guys, much love to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to make sure to be over in the YouTube chat when this is done processing. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Be safe, be prepared, and proud. Oh, you guys are still here? Oh, well, thanks. Thanks for coming. Appreciate you. Thanks. Good night.